Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this episode number 153 and the unplanned but unavoidable part 3 of the GMG MAFT 100 of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and to play. I am one of your hosts, the Brazilian Mountaineer and Transition Ninja, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the judge, jury, and executioner of fake news and camping, Patrick Novosel.
I did not hit her. It's not true. I did not hit her. I did not.
On his
Marc.
left and my right, the Rocket League and Beast of the East who can make you laugh in 3 words or less or your money back, Ronnie Johantis.
I'm so confused by what that even was. Without context, I have no idea what you're talking about.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And then the final member of the GMG Quadfecta who's got music in his heart, Apex Legends on his brain, and La Coretta in his old stomacho, Marc Boucher.
Hiya!
Hi.
Hiya? Is that like
Hiya.
a different dialect of a ninja?
Yes. It's an inquisitive hiya. Hiya!
He's like not sure if he should slash you. Hiya!
Not sure of my
Yeah.
next plan of attack.
It's the opening remark of a ninja.
To hiya or not to hiya?
Oh, he knows a little Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
He's
very well-educated
He's
ninja.
learned. He's
Classy.
learned.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
he is learned. All right. Well, given that you're, I guess, the educated ninja, Mark, how's you doing?
Are you educated?
I am not educated.
That is improper English.
That is West Virginia English. It's the dialect of the Mountaineers. So,
It's a heavy dialect.
yep, pretty thick.
Yeah, so nothing too crazy going on with me. In real life, biggest thing honestly that happened was last Saturday night. Got to spend some time with the family and got to see my brother and sister-in-law's new house that they just bought.
Cool.
Nice, cozy little house. It's a nice, beautiful home for them. It's really good because they bought a house a few years ago, and the house had like a huge mold problem. And for my sister-in-law, she's especially adverse to mold, and so like it makes her incredibly sick. So they actually had to move out of the house and
Yikes.
stay with my father and mother-in-law. And they remediated everything, but then once they did that, they decided to rent the house. But then after a while of renting and all that kind of stuff, they ended up selling the house. And they just bought a new one. And so they just moved in probably about a week or two ago and finally got to check that out. I'm not gonna lie,
Nice.
it makes me a little, kind of like I kind of want a house,
Yeah.
but at
Making
the
a little
same
jelly.
time, yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to be locked into, buying a home when I don't know what the future may bring for me in terms of possibly moving elsewhere in the future.
Right.
So I'd rather hold off on that for now. But the thought was there. But it was great. I'm happy for them to be able to have their own house, especially with a almost it's like a year and a half old now child. They have their own space, their own home, their own place to kind of raise their child. Although I'm sure it was nice for them because they kind of had like a built-in babysitter because my father and mother-in-law were right there. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy for them. Got to play a little bit more of that Happy Little Dinosaurs game. Got to introduce that a little bit more to them, which was a lot of fun. But that was pretty much the main highlight of my week in real life. There was a lot more activity on the gaming side of things for me. Mainly, first off, I had talked to you guys about playing Death's Door, that nice little indie game, which I was having a lot of fun with. I ended up beating that
Nice.
this past weekend.
Nice.
Well done. Well done.
Overall, it was a lot of fun, but man, those bosses and things like that, like, so difficult. And I feel like even when I was like powering up, like trying to build up my character's stats and everything like that, basically, it was, even though I'd build up the character, I was still like having a horrible time trying to beat these bosses and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd have to play them like 10, 20 times before I finally beat them.
Yeah.
And so I happened to look up the time to beat on that. It's only like 6.5 hours to beat it. Yeah, it took me twice that amount.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. Is there a way to like grind out stats and like pump yourself up a little bit, or does it not work like that?
Sort of, but it didn't feel like I was getting enough of a stat boost, even though it says like, oh yeah, you basically in the game you collect souls,
Right.
and if you collect so many souls, you can use those as currency to boost up your stats on your character. You can boost up stats for melee attacks, stats for speed, stats for your ranged attacks, all that kind of stuff. It's not like too crazy of a skill tree kind of thing or stat boost, but it's there. But yeah, I never really felt like it was really boosting my character. Like I never felt there was a point where I was like super OP,
Gotcha.
or anything like that. But yeah, but I still had a lot of fun with it. And very much enjoyed it. And then Friday night, I jumped in with Watson of the Co-op Trio podcast. Played with him and Nitro of the Comics in the Cross podcast. Played some arenas for Apex with them, which was a lot of fun. It was a great time with them. Just getting to know some fellow podcasters. I've played with Watson before. Nitro is awesome as well. Like he's a very, very gifted, very talented cartoonist. Like they actually, as part of their Comics in the Cross thing, they do every Tuesday nights typically something called the Art of the Hero, where he basically goes through drawing an entire piece.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, and it's really cool, and he's very talented. So, got to hang out with them. That was a lot of fun. And then Saturday night, played some Apex on my own, as well as some Splitgate, which was a lot of fun. I'm really digging Splitgate, honestly, and I can't remember. I think I was talking to Watson about this. Like, I think, in my opinion, I think Splitgate is the better game compared to Halo Infinite. Because it just seemed more fun to me. It seemed more like old Halo than actual Halo is now. So, but I enjoyed it, and it's free to play. They've actually gotten to work quite a bit on their servers, so the server wait the queue isn't as nearly as bad as it was. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and of course I played some Apex as well, and then I played more Apex on Sunday with the other half. Yeah, I know, it was an Apex-filled weekend. With the other half of Comics in the Cross, I played with Cross himself, and also played with Isaac of the Infinity Bros. And got to play some Battle Royale and some arenas with him, which was a lot of fun. We did horribly. I think we won like one arenas game out of the whole thing, and we played for like 2 hours. But it was still a lot of fun. For sure. But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. Was just a lot of just hanging out with other podcasters, playing games, and beat Death's Door, and yeah,
not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
Nice.
Ronnie, how was your weekend, sir?
My weekend was a little different, actually. So we found out, not on such a good note, we found out last weekend, my stepbrother that lives in St. Louis, basically my stepdad's son, his mother passed away unexpectedly last weekend. So she was 59. So it was pretty early. They were doing like they do like a celebration of life type thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing one of those in St. Louis this past weekend. So we woke up at I don't know, the time that people don't even get up in the morning. That's what time we were up on Saturday morning.
Sunrise.
It was rough.
God's not even awake.
Yeah, nobody's awake at that hour. The witching hour. So we got up early on Saturday morning, drove to St. Louis. It's about a 5.5 hour drive. So, I mean, it's pretty decent drive. It takes a while in the car. It feels like, even if you're not driving, which I was not. I drove with my stepdad and my mom. As an adult, you don't get to ride on long trips that often. So it's kind of magical. Like, like as an adult man, pretty much you're driving that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no matter how far it is. So it was kind of nice to get to ride along actually, instead of having to make the long trip. Even though I can't really sleep in the car like that well. But we went there. It was at like a winery type place, which was really nice. And we hung out there for a few hours, and then we went back to the hotel, napped for a few hours, and then went out to dinner with them. And then we ended up driving back on Sunday. It wasn't too crazy, but it's one of those weekends where, Monday comes around and it's like, wow, I didn't really have a weekend. It felt like, because you're busy the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, it was long. It was a long weekend, and you just kind of go to pay your respects and things like that. So it was nice. It was a really nice time. And I met his mom a few times at like their wedding and a couple times before that. And she was just, he kind of nailed it where he's like, he said, I think in his post, that basically God had a lot on his hands now with her, good and bad. You know what I mean? Like, so it was really nice to go down there and see them for a little bit. But outside of that, I really haven't done anything out of the ordinary as far as video games go. I've been playing a little bit of Rocket League, but season 3 is about to end. I think season 4 starts tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a Western theme, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually. I haven't read too much into it. I know that they changed a few things. So they're going to actually have like, there's going to be like Rumble tournaments and doubles tournaments. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah, no,
that'll definitely be cool. I think the highest I got to was Platinum 2. There was a little while there, a little stretch where I was like, I bet if I tried hard, I could make it to like the first level of Diamond. And if I did that, of course, I would have quit like until the end of the season.
Yeah, immediately. As soon as you get it, you're like, done.
Well, that's it. There. So I definitely did not make it. I actually think Eric did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. He was playing with like a champion level guy. So like even past that, he said it was a completely different game. And
I'm sure it was. I can't imagine.
I'm just like, if I play in like a higher level game with Diamond players, like it kind of sucks. Like it's a different game that I'm not good at.
Hey guys, I mean? Hey guys, can I touch the ball?
Yeah, I'm like the new kid that just like got into the game. But that's pretty much it. I did download GTA 5 again. Ooh, just to have something to play while I'm bored. Like it's been a go-to of mine for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. What do you got, Pat?
Yeah, this past weekend went camping, and you know how much I love camping.
Yeah, oh yeah, your favorite.
So it was all right. No lost bacon.
I was just gonna ask. I'm so glad to hear that. I was really worried.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had good weather. One thing that was different about this campsite is there's like an Indian burial ground.
Oh no. Man. Run for your lives. What are you doing? Who chose this place?
I hope no pets are buried on top of that.
It's a trail. Like
in the middle of the night.
It's called the Indian Mound Trail, and it ends with like this big mound that is now like, I don't know, like 15 feet high, and like kind of 30 feet wide. And underneath that is like a bunch of corpses.
Oh, that's bad idea. Why would you do that?
I don't know. So, I mean,
whose idea was sign a waiver?
Yeah. The only thing to do was to obviously go over there at night, because I mean, going during the day is nothing. So I was like, "Hey kids, you want to go see some ghosts?" So yeah, I was like, "Get your flashlights." So we walk over there, and it is like in the campground. It's not like far into the forest. It's in the campground. So we go over there, and one kid chickens out. They're like, oh, "Nope, I don't want to do this."
That'd have been me.
So I walk her back, and then we are almost to the Indian mound, and one of the other kids is like, "I can't go in." I was like, "Too bad, you knew you're coming in."
Too late.
Yeah,
you're going first now.
So we walk around that, and obviously nothing happened, but I thought it was interesting. Like just an Indian burial ground in the middle of a campsite. Like I don't understand like why that's a thing. But yeah, it was an interesting part of the trip. But over the weekend, I watched a few movies, and so buckle up. I watched I watched the Tommy Wiseau film, The Room, for the very first time in my life.
Now, what possessed you to do this?
So
I've only seen GIFs, and now I've watched too much of it because of you.
I've been wanting to watch it for so long, and it's just one of those because it's like it is infamously known as the worst movie ever made, and they even made a movie about the movie, which stars James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, and then his brother Dave Franco as his best friend. And I think who else was in that?
Now, is the James Franco one a movie about the making of the movie? Or
yes, it is about the making of the movie. Yeah,
and that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So I watched
James Franco.
The Room was like an hour and 40 minutes, and it starts off bad. It continues to be bad. The dialogue in this movie it felt like it was lazy. Like Tommy Wiseau was pretty much like he was trying to make it in show business and he couldn't cut it. So he was like, you know what? I've got some money. I'm going to make my own movie and I'm going to write it. I'm going to direct it. I'm going to produce it, and which he had no right doing any of this, which it shows. There's points where in the movie they are talking about something and then all of a sudden someone asks them a question and they're like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about it. And it happens multiple times in the show. I'm just like, what? Can we finish a conversation, please, in this?
95% of anything going on in that movie could not be considered natural conversation.
Well, yeah, it's like there's a mother and daughter are talking, and the daughter's like, "You're not dying." She's like, "I got the test back, and I have cancer." And like that has no bearing on the entire movie. They don't talk about it later in the movie. She doesn't die. Like, why even bring this up? It was so strange. Yeah, it was so bad. It was, but I could not look away. This movie was so good.
It's like watching a car accident.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so that this was, I don't know, so it was Thursday night, and then on Friday, I had downloaded the Disaster Artist on Netflix, and the Disaster Artist was the movie making of or whatever of The Room, and that movie was hilarious. Just seeing how it was all made, and so that was real. It was a good back-to-back movie because I've been wanting to watch the Disaster Artist because of The Room, so it was a good back-to-back movie.
Now, was Tommy Wiseau like somebody, or is he just known because of this movie?
He's known because of this movie. So it cost like $6 million to make, and
how did he get $6 million?
I don't know. No one knows how he gets his money. It's yeah.
Okay.
And it made a whopping $1,800 in the box office.
No, what? 1,800?
Yeah.
Since then, it's grown this like cult-like status where like everybody's excited about it and stuff because it's so bad
awful.
it's good.
Yeah,
one of those kinds of things. And like
they have normal midnight showings all across the world on a regular basis.
I remember it was a big deal when Twitch actually streamed. I believe they streamed The Room. They played it on Twitch.
Well, they're allowed to do that?
That was my question. Now that I was thinking about it. I didn't watch it when they did it, but I'm pretty sure it was on Twitch. It had to have been heavily edited, or not heavily, but certain.
I mean,
parts.
there's a few scenes where it's like, well, okay, when's this gonna end?
Yeah, it had to have been edited.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some fun movies. If you have a chance, I recommend seeing The Room just to be a part of that, just to see how movies should not be made. And then watch The Disaster Artist afterwards, just to see how it is actually made. It's it's a good double feature. And then I watched The Suicide Squad on Sunday, and let me tell you, this movie. It started off, I was just like, this movie's awful. This movie is so bad. I cannot believe that they made another Suicide Squad. This is so bad. And then it just like after the first like 10, 15 minutes, it got awesome. Yeah. Like seriously awesome. And the bad part of the first 10, 15 minutes made sense of how bad it was because of what happens for the rest of the movie. Yep. And which makes the beginning terribleness like good in a sense. And yeah, it was good. I laughed way more than I thought I would in this movie. Like this movie was did not take itself seriously, and it was beautiful because of it.
Yep. Yeah, James Gunn nailed this out of the park. I forgot to mention in my update that I watched it as well.
You did.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, James Gunn does a great job with this, and I will officially say I love what they did with Polka Dot Man.
I was just gonna ask. I need to know about Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man still is the worst character. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt because you're talking about Polka Dot Man. He had zero. I mean, spoilers. He had zero to do with this movie. Zero.
Well, I'm glad he lived up to my expectations.
I disagree with that.
Okay, we'll have to talk later because I want to hear why you think Polka Dot Man should have been this. If he was not in this movie, the movie could exist as a good movie.
Yeah, technically there are several characters like that. The tagline to the entire movie is "Don't get attached." So, but I think what they did with his character in this movie is hilarious, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, of course, they're all like C, D, and F list characters. That's the whole point.
yeah, true. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. It's a movie I'll probably see again. It was that good.
Yeah.
On the game front,
wait.
Whoa, go.
You're going to talk about 3 movies and not give us any ratings whatsoever.
Oh, okay. So
what is this? Who are you?
Okay.
What have you done with Patrick?
Sure, I'll give you some rankings. So The Room, I'm going to give a solid 7 out of 10. Like this.
Oh, okay.
It is so good. So bad that it's actually good.
Yeah, it circles back around again.
I laughed.
Broken clock.
Yeah, I laughed at this movie.
Yeah.
I was like talking at the TV at this movie because
I bet
it's like, what are you doing?
Actually, after you like mentioned you watched it, I watched the YouTube 10-minute version of the movie.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
It's so funny
when he goes into the shop and he's just like, "Can I get a dozen roses?" And she's like, $18. Here you go. Hi, doggy. You're my favorite customer. Like those lines all happen within 30 seconds. It's like there's nobody breathes. It's just like the lines just all run together.
You missed the best part. Tommy Wiseau, he is a character that you can see from a mile away. He comes in, he asks for some flowers. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't recognize you." It's like, what do you mean you didn't recognize him?
Right.
Who doesn't recognize this guy? Oh, man. But yeah, that 10 minutes, right. I bet you had a good time with that.
I did. It was fun.
And then Disaster Artist, I would give because it was so good. And I think because I watched it back to back, I had a lot of recency bias with it, so
right.
I think Disaster
11
Artist
out
was
of 10.
good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was good. And then Suicide Squad, I would also give a 9 out of 10. I had some pretty good movies. Well, The Room is bad, but the Disaster Artist and Suicide Squad were solid movies.
Definitely not a watch with the kiddos movie. Absolutely not.
Oh, not even. No.
Trust me,
no.
the preview or the trailer had enough in it to know that I wasn't going to watch that with any of my children ever. Like, even when they're older, I'm not going to watch it with them because it's awkward.
Yeah, you watch that 2-3 minute Red Band trailer. That just sums it up for what the rest of the movie is. Yeah. But yeah, so on the gaming front, I played this Xbox Game Pass game, Curse of the Dead Gods. It is a rogue light game.
Yeah,
and it's so.
Speaking my language.
I played it just because one, it has to do with a little bit about Dead Cells, and two, I had so much of a good time with Returnal that I thought that I might try another rogue kind of game. So this game is like there's like 10 levels, and and there's like tiers to each level. So the first 3 levels are tier 1. You go through certain areas, rooms within like a biome, and at the end is a boss. At the end is a boss. Yep. But as you go through each room, it's kind of like if you've ever played Slay the Spire, it's like that where you choose which way you go, and depending on which way you go, it will pretty much nix the rest of that path, and you can only go a certain way. And it's usually like 7-8 rooms before you get to the boss, and each room has a reward, and reward could be health. It could be like an artifact that gives you a buff. It could be a weapon, or it can upgrade your own weapon that you already have. And you only have so much life, and some of these weapons, some of these artifacts give you like perks, like if you use this weapon and it gives you 6% of the damage you give back to your health, or
like Diablo.
Yeah, it's just like that. So I went through the first 3 levels without dying. I'm like, this game's not really that hard. So I get to the second tier, and the second tier you go through rooms and then a boss and then more rooms and then another boss. So there's 2 bosses in tier 2. I go through the first level, and I beat both bosses without dying. I was like, this game, like, I haven't even upgraded, because you're supposed to die, and when you die, you're supposed to take all the stuff that you've collected and upgrade weapons. Right. You know how you start, because you can start with, like, say 1,000 gold, or you can start with better weapons, or you can start with whatever. You're supposed to die, so you can upgrade. And I got through the first 4 levels without dying, but then I got to the 5th level, and I could not get past it for the life of me. So I had to like start upgrading. And then I got through the 5th level, got through the 6th level, and then I got to tier 3. Tier 3, you have to go through 3 bosses. And so I got to the 3rd boss twice, and I died both times. One of the mechanics in the game, one of the little twists, is there's like a corruption. So every door you open, you get corrupted. And after you get, and that's every door you open is like 20 corrupted points. And once you get to 100, then you get a curse. And that curse is usually detrimental to you for whatever that is. It's bad, it's a health, or you get, if you're in the dark, you get hurt more, or things like that. So, and if you get 5 curses, then the last final curse is your health continuously goes down until 1 HP.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's bad, because when you're going through like 30 rooms, and you're trying to use certain artifacts to bring your corruption down, and just so you can get, because if you get to that 5th curse, you're done for. It's impossible, almost impossible to get through it. But I had a blast. I probably won't play it anymore. I think I had enough fill, because I know Hades is coming out at the end of the week.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would kind of wanted to leave that the rogue light kind of game that's in my system for Hades. So looking forward to that.
Nice.
For sure.
Yeah. Played Apex, played Fortnite. Oh, Fortnite! I got Superman. Superman came out today.
Soups.
Yeah, you did.
Finally got that skin. So
You'll be running around like a fool.
It's weird because I haven't unlocked everything for Superman. So he's like flying in with like the Millennium Falcon as his.
Oh yeah, that seems right. That seems
That's
normal.
Fortnite for you.
Yeah. So
I tried to do the quests today, and like it was irritating the crap out of me because obviously, you know, those spots to do the quests, they're obviously hot spots right now.
Yeah, they are.
So I kept dying every time I tried to do the quests. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do this with like a team." Which Pat did it by himself. So
I did it by myself. So this is what I did: is I just flew to where the quest was, but I flew a little bit farther. So I just sat there. I grabbed some health, and I waited for the circle to come in. And once the circle comes in, you can go and collect your quest while you're getting hurt. And then as soon as I got the quest, I just exited the game and then got back in and did it again. So that's how I did it. It's very easy, very simple. I did it solo. I was able to bang out all the quests pretty quickly.
It's funny, like the one quest where they have you basically go kill some aliens or something like that. I could not find aliens anywhere. Like normally in that game, like they're everywhere. And
yeah. I chose not to do that one. There's the ones like with use a jump pad, fly a saucer, drive a car 99 miles an hour. But I didn't choose the alien one because I was like, I don't even know where these aliens are. I don't play this game enough to figure out where those guys are.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But that's me. That's it for me.
That is you.
Yeah. Lucas.
Hi.
What's going on you man?
Let's see. So the family is back to school. Back to life, back to reality. So they're back to school. I'm working from home. My daughter just started playing I guess it would be a school sport. I don't know. I was trying to think of like intercollegiate in-school sport.
Intramural sports?
No, because they play other schools eventually.
Oh, okay.
She started a middle school sport. This is her first official like school sport, like where she's going to end up playing games. But she chose soccer. She had the choice between soccer and volleyball. And
now, do you guys call it soccer?
I mean, we call it soccer in English, but in Portuguese, it's definitely futebol.
That's weird. What is it?
Futebol.
Futebol.
Isn't that the guy that's like all about telling us about the coronavirus and stuff? Oh no, that's Fauci.
Isn't
that's
that
Fauci?
Like
it's not Fauci ball. It's futebol.
Is that foosball? You mean?
Go play
not quite.
Foosball with your friends.
Now, if it were foosball, I would be all in. I was actually talking to Natasha. She was talking about how once the ball comes her way, she always gets nervous. And I'm like, you got that genetic code from me, because that's exactly how I was with soccer, with basketball. Like I could maybe dribble 3 times and then I would have to pass it to someone. I would get so nervous. They would, people would, press you or whatever. And I'm not a fan. I get sweaty hands and just can't handle it. So I just throw the ball away. So that's what I taught her. I said, first lesson, as soon as you get the ball, if you get nervous, just kick it. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. She's definitely not going to get any pointers from me for soccer. But yeah, so she started that. She was like super pumped. We went to the mall on Saturday and she picked out her first set of cleats.
Oh,
nice.
That was quite a venture. We, we were looking like there are different styles of cleats. There's the traditional plastic, I guess the thicker ones. They're also like cleats where there's a bunch of little ones. And we were like, well, which one can we do? What are we going to do? We got to pick the colors. And it wasn't too bad, but I will say after the third store, James and I are like, we're going to go to the collectible store and look at Legos and Funko Pops. Okay, bye. We were out. We were not about to go to a third store. So, yeah. Other than that, Rayla got her third set of vaccines, and so now she can leave the Swisher compound without worry of her getting rabies or, spreading some kind of dog disease, corona.
Kind of T virus.
Chow. Yeah, Corona T virus.
T virus.
And so far in 3 days, I've done one walk in the neighborhood, and it was a drag. Literally, she pretty much tried to drag me all over the neighborhood. Dang, this dog is like, it was almost like you could tell she had not smelled these smells before, because she was just like nose to the ground, like pulling. I mean, she's about 35, 36 pounds, but it is a dense 36 pounds. Like nonstop energy. She's like, what are these smells? I mean, cars would drive by and she's like barking at them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we gotta
this stuff.
Yeah, isn't it grand? I gotta put her on a treadmill every morning for an hour before we even go on a walk. Like, she
wear her down first.
Yeah, wear her out first, so I just pretty much can drag her in the neighborhood. But yeah, so that was pretty tough, but we got through it. And then like, we had gotten to the point, we had just been walking in our yard for in the yard for the past couple months, and she had gotten really good to just walk right next to me. I wouldn't have to pull on the leash at all. Like, she would just walk next to me. Occasionally she, pick up a leaf, pick up a stick, and kind of just carry it in her mouth while we're walking, whatever. But as soon as we got in the neighborhood, she was like, nope, this is new. I've forgotten everything you've taught me these past 2 months. I am now a wild animal again. So we're gonna stagger it. Probably every 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna take her out in the neighborhood, and then we'll reestablish things back on the property after that. Besides that, watched a movie this week. Probably a little behind in watching newer movies, but my wife and I got to finally watch Cruella, which we surprisingly enjoyed. I will admit that I was very skeptical. Cruella is probably a bottom 5 villain of all time for me. Like, I'm not really a fan, couldn't care less. And I don't know, Disney made me care and really told a cool story. Yep. The soundtrack in this movie is the best part. Like, I mean, I told Mindy at some point, I'm like, are we listening to like the greatest hits of the 60s and 70s? Like, I don't know, like in every situation they were in, they would play a song and it fit it perfectly. And it just was so good.
I mean, they were doing songs like with Queen.
Yeah. They're all songs, like there was no like, it wasn't like a typical, I feel like a typical movie will play maybe 2 tops 3 songs that are like kind of pop classic, whatever. Mm-hmm. And this movie at least played 6. Wow. It was like boom, situation with a new song, boom, situation, and they all fit wonderfully. And so then good. On top of making us like kind of like care and connect with Cruella's character in this film, I was very surprised how much I liked Horace and Jasper as well. Like, I really liked their characters. The little dog Winky or Wink or whatever with the eye patch. Yeah. Like, I was like, man, I want a Winky dog. Like, he was the coolest. It was a really good movie. I'd definitely give it a 8.5. What would I? 8.5 Dalmatian plops.
Oh.
Out of 10.
I still want Doug from Up.
For sure.
That's what kind of dog I want. I want Doug.
Oh, you want a Doug from Up? Yeah. Oh, I will say that after watching this, I definitely don't want a Dalmatian dog at all. Like, every Dalmatian in this movie was pure evil. Like,
they're also like extremely hyper, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they are. Mindy had a Dalmatian dog named Sparky. He ate everything. He got into everything. In fact, he died eating a frog.
Like, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
A poison dart frog. He ate it and died.
What's weird, because normally dogs like don't eat stuff like that. Like, I feel like animals don't eat like frogs and stuff. Like
I mean, it depends on their their IQ. It depends on their life experience.
I guess it does count on that.
I mean, they had him since they said they could hold Sparky in their hand. He was so little when they got him as a puppy. Oh, so he wasn't that smart from what I, the stories I heard.
It's really just Russian roulette, man. When you're talking about getting a smart dog, like
it really is. But he was a fun dog. Mindy loved that dog. And but speaking of like him dying from eating a poison dart frog, I don't know if I told you guys the first night we had Rayla, we were out in the yard and definitely a toad showed up And Mindy was like, "You get Rayla from that toad right now. Don't let her see it. Don't let her touch it."
Yeah.
Like she was really afraid that she was going to lick it and die. That would have not been cool. But thankfully,
as a little kid, I could not figure out why everything wasn't just eating the frogs, which are just like hopping around with zero defense.
They're so bright and colorful.
And it's because they'll kill anything that eats them. And things are just aware of that.
And usually they give off some kind of like pheromone or secretion that kind of warns an animal that you shouldn't go near it.
Sparky, I found a big dead toad one time in my garage, but the cat had actually just like pretty much played with it to death and then left it. So like she was smart enough to not eat it, but also smart enough to know she could probably play with it for hours.
Just play with it for a little bit. Yeah. And then in the gaming sector of life, I definitely unofficially abandoned Dead Cells after reaching the last boss recently. The next to last boss, sorry. I got to the last normal boss before getting to the 5BC only boss. I didn't quite make it. There's just too many games to play. I did get to play through and finish BioShock 2 this past week.
Very nice.
And as a little bonus GMG VGBC, once a couple more people are able to boot up and finish old BioShock, we do plan on doing a little spoiler cast for that one here in a few weeks. And then also doing a BioShock series spoiler cast to cover BioShock 2 and Infinite. I really enjoyed it and definitely have a lot of things to say about it when we have those spoiler casts in a few weeks time. And then besides finishing that, I, of course, as is tradition, had to get a few platinums this past week. Mm-hmm. And they did not disappoint. Or did they? I will say the only one that disappointed was a game called Tales of Arcadia.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. All I have to say is move over. My name is Mayo. Move over Syrup and the Ultimate Sweet. I have a new baby plat to be utterly ashamed to have played.
Ooh.
Is it as bad as Conan the Barbarian?
Was utterly ashamed a pun?
Hey, whoa. Don't belittle Conan the Barbarian. We laughed so much playing that game. The time we played it, we laughed a lot. It was worse than that. What did you say, Ronnie?
No, you just said utterly disappointed, and I was like, was that a pun?
No, there's.
I was like, one of these games. If one of these games have utter in the title.
It wasn't a pun. This game literally took me 1 minute and 30 seconds to platinum.
What?
You have to turn it on?
And 30 seconds to platinum. You turn it on, you fiddle with the settings. When the game starts, you press R1 to skip. It plays through the entire text of the game. You get the platinum.
Like, write your name and you win.
Exactly.
Any number and you win.
It's a graphic novel. You make 0 choices. It is very anime, but you wouldn't know it because the pictures go by so quickly and then it's over. And I was like, what just happened? And I just deleted it. It literally took me 2 minutes to load the game, fast forward through the game, and delete it.
What's the point of it?
He doesn't know. He sped through it.
The point of it is to get a platinum, and I got it. I actually got it twice. That's why I said I now have a new game to be utterly ashamed that I platinumed 2 times. All right. Enough of the one I'm ashamed of. Let's talk about the 3 that I actually enjoyed. The next one that I played is called Iron Snout. It took about an hour to platinum, so a pretty beefy baby platinum.
Beefy.
Yeah, beefy one. 1 hour. So this is a stationary brawler. I don't know if you've ever heard of these before. I actually just made up the name, but your character is a pig and you know Kung Fu. And your goal is to beat up a bunch of wolves in the woods, at a construction site, and on a pirate ship.
The wolves are doing construction?
I mean, sometimes some of them are. Like one of the wolves was riding around on a like ball and chain, like a huge wrecking chain, with the ball, and you like kick it. So it's a stationary brawler because you can't move around. Your pig sits in the middle of the screen, and then from all sides, from both sides, the enemies approach you. And then when they get close enough to you, you use the D-pad, up, down, left, right. And then you just press any combination and the pig will just will chop around. And you can also, not only do you kick and punch, you can grab their weapons and use it against them and catch their weapons and throw them back at them. It actually wasn't too bad. When I first started it up, my family was with me, and I went to the settings and it said, do you want to do the mature, like, do you want to do blood mode or not blood mode? I'm like, I'll do it the safe route. So I was playing, and it was fine. It was just, a little brawler. And then I read the trophy guide that you have to have the blood mode on in order to get some of the trophies. So the kids had gone to bed. Mindy was playing Candy Crush or watching something, or she might have been working. And I turned the blood mode on, and things escalated like John Wick style real quick. Like,
blood
I was
everywhere.
There was blood everywhere. Like, you could punch a wolf's head off and then kick it into a tree branch, and it would impale the head of the wolf.
No, it's the fatalities.
Yeah, there was like fatalities. There's all kinds of stuff. And I was like, all right. And Mindy looks up and she's like, what are you playing? Like, don't worry, just give me 15 more minutes. I'll have the platinum and I'll delete it.
The best game ever.
Yeah. But yeah, I give this one a 6.5 out of 10 pigs in wolf's clothing. So that was Iron Snout. And that one was recommended by none other than our Iowanese friend Tim Pollen. So shout outs to Timmy for recommending that one. The next one, funnily enough, Patrick bringing up Conan the Barbarian. I played a game called Siberian, the Traveling Warrior.
And the correlation?
Siberian, barbarian. So you're pretty much Conan the Barbarian, and then it's mashed with Back to the Future and RoboCop.
Like Conan without the
awesome.
copyright.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it actually, that's what I was saying. It's really cool. So you're a barbarian that finds this powerful sword. And then when he picks up the sword, he gets taken into the future. And it's like a dystopian RoboCop type of future where it's like kind of cyberpunk looking stages. It's a pretty standard side scroller. You start out kind of clunky with the sword. Like if you just try to mash the button, he'll swing once and then like kind of drop his sword and not be able to hit. So you have to swing the sword, and then when he turns yellow, I don't know why, then you hit it again and he'll do a second move, and when he turns yellow again, you do a third one and he'll do like a super uppercut with the sword and wreck shop. So if you were patient in the first stage, you were good. And then you got the second stage, they gave you a dodge button, which was cool. That helped you, dodge the other side and keep fighting. But then the third stage, if you got to the third stage, they gave you a sword throw. This sword throw went across the entire screen. Like, you would stand, it was like Jerry Rice.
Clean house?
Yeah, clean house. Because like Joe Montana throwing to Jerry Rice in Tecmo Super Bowl. Like, you just stand on the left side of the screen, throw the sword, and it just hits everybody and comes back to you. It's like a boomerang sword. It's pretty awesome. So if I had known,
Thor's hammer, kind of like?
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Thor's
Nice.
hammer, and it's just flying back and forth, killing everything. At one point, I had to play one stage on hard, and it was easier with the throwing sword than it was originally on easy in the first stage before I had the throwing sword. So that was nice to learn that. But it wasn't too bad. Took like 40 minutes. It was a little enjoyable plat. I give that one, I'd probably say I'll give it a 7 out of 10 time traveling loincloths.
Okay.
All right. One more. Uno mas. This one's called Rift Raccoon. Took me 20 minutes. I want you to imagine Rocket Raccoon, except he can't talk and he has no guns. And he's only...
So a raccoon.
So a regular raccoon.
Yeah, pretty much. Except he is armed with a bracelet that lets him teleport exactly 5 feet forward, backwards, up, or down. So cool, right?
No,
Sure.
not really.
Yeah, so...
And then a machine gun.
To top it all off, he can only climb about 5 feet up before he gets tired, and then he falls. So he's like the laziest.
He's the worst raccoon
That is
ever.
the worst raccoon ever. Yeah, it was just like you had to play like 15 50 levels, and then you got the platinum. So I really just like brute forced my way through. One thing that was funny was if you got hit by a spike, you would become invincible for like 5 seconds. So I would get hit by a spike, and then I would run through the spikes to get to the other side. And that's how I beat like half the levels, was just, he did that flickering thing, like Mario does or other characters. So I exploited the bejangles out of that. And so I got the platinum in like 20 minutes. That one, I'm going to have to give that one a 5 out of 10.
Well, that's
not
low.
even that's not even on the Lucas scale right there.
That's low.
That's low. 5 out of 10. It was pretty frustrating actually.
That's like 0.
Because they introduce stuff and they don't tell you what it's for, and then it doesn't make any sense what you're supposed to do. So, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. I don't know. Raccoons, trash pandas. 5 out of 10 trash pandas. Regular raccoons without bracelets.
Boring raccoons.
Yeah, boring raccoons. So those were my platinums I got. I'm quickly working my way up to platinum number 275, which is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. So I'll keep you guys posted on what's to come, because there are lots of platinums lined up, lots of weird games
the
headed
DLC
our way.
For that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next week.
Ghost of Ikishima. Mm-hmm. That sounds better than what I was saying. So yeah, that's going to be cool. You know what else is cool? The top 10 movies that we're finally unveiling.
Finally.
After 3 weeks.
Who are you kidding? There'll be a part 4.
Yeah.
The top
We're going to get
one.
to like the top 3. And then we're going to
do the top
to number 3 and
tonight.
stop. Yep. All right. Did you already do the music? I don't know. I wasn't.
Yes, I did. Sure.
Okay, good.
Just now.
All right. That's right, folks. We are talking about the top 10 of our top 100 GMG MAFT 100. I already said top 100.
And what does MAFT stand for again?
Movies and films. Top 100.
What is the difference between movies and films?
Films does sound classier, though.
Films is classier, exactly. We got some classies and we got some non-classy.
Some classies. We got some classies on this list.
That's his proper English again.
That's what they said back in the 20s. That's what they said. Okay. I'm going to go see the classies.
The talkies.
See? The classies.
I think in the 20s,
the
they might have said they're going to go see the pictures.
I got to see the pictures,
that too.
The flicks.
Pictures, eh?
We didn't want to call the movies and the pictures, the MAPT.
You want to go see the moving photos today?
Could have done movies, films, and pictures.
All right. We'll work on that for next time around.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah. Let's add some more letters to it. We will. All right. Let's open up the old Google Docs and jump right in, shall we? Number 10.
This is a banger of a list. It's top 10, though.
It is. You can't go wrong with this list. You can watch every single one of these movies.
I'd watch any of these right now.
Right here, right now. Let's put a pin in this. Let's go watch. Which one do you guys want to watch first?
Come back tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's watch each movie as we go through it.
We're watching them all right now on the podcast. This is going to be the first 30-hour podcast.
Live.
Yeah, let's do it.
Giant Bomb, eat your heart out.
That's right. You got nothing on us, suckers. We got all the classies right here. All right. Number 10. This one's brought to you by me. I shared this one. Brought to you by me. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, the funniest of the 3 movies. No question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the battle scene in this movie, like the Helm's Deep battle scene, was like potentially one of the coolest battle scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Sure was.
Like this is 100% like top 3.
Yeah.
Was this
for sure?
Was it this movie or Fellowship of the Ring where he kicks the helmet, the orc?
That's this one where Aragorn breaks his toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, or breaks his foot. I don't know if it was his toe.
That's real emotion he's showing.
That's true acting right there.
Yeah.
At his finest.
It's true acting.
Yep, for sure. I remember watching this movie for the first time and thinking, I don't remember the books being this funny. Like, I was just like caught off guard. I remember reading the books for the first time in middle school, and I felt like all the way through they were serious. Like it was an epic tale.
Yep.
You know, the hobbits were sometimes funny, but for the most part, it was like focused. We got to get the ring to, Mount Doom and destroy evil and all that stuff. But man, what a ride. Like, I love Gimli and Legolas's dynamic between the two of them. It's when they start counting each other's kill, or like counting their kills. Count. And yeah. And, a lot of that dwarf pride where, he has to, Gimli's like, throw me, but don't tell the elf. Like, just, stuff like that. Just is so, it's so funny.
Make it across.
So good.
Did you know, I saw something not that long ago about the actor that played Gimli, and during the filming of these, like all of his hair and like makeup that he had on, like the toxins in that actually like really affected him to a point where he actually believed he was that character and not acting. And he got to a point where he actually stopped taking off like his makeup and stuff. And a lot of the actual scenes in the movies you see is not him actually acting. It's actually him believing that he is in the middle of that.
Wow.
I believe it.
Like it's a real thing. Like the toxins and stuff, like they just, they,
Ronnie fact.
Yeah, they like hit him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw this on TikTok. So I guess it's possible that it could not be true.
TikTok fact. That's
but no, it is actually really interesting. I guess it really did a number on him. So a lot of it wasn't even acting; it was him believing that he was in it.
Do you know that also he's the opposite size of a dwarf?
Yeah.
Like he is a tall man, like a very large man. Like, so they had to do a lot of trick photography.
Yeah.
Like putting people on. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
he's
like
big dude.
He's like the second shortest character other than the Hobbits. He's the next shortest character, and yet in real life, I'm pretty sure he's as, I don't know. I can't remember how tall he is, but he's a tall dude. So yeah.
Now, was it this the one where they're having a conversation about these people go this way and these people go this way? It's pretty evident that they're trying to make a diversion, and then they zoom in on Legolas, and he's like, a diversion. Like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Were you not listening? was that this one? Was it Two Towers? I'm pretty sure it was. But every time I see that scene, I'm like, Legolas, come on, get your head on straight.
Pull it together, man. I don't know. It might be this one. That sounds right. The diversion.
I'm gonna look it up.
Do it. Look it up.
Mm-hmm.
While I need to look up how tall the actor. What is the actor's name, Mark? I know you've been looking.
His name is Jonathan Rhys-Davies.
Yes.
Well, I knew that already. But,
why didn't you say it earlier?
It wasn't proper time.
Yeah, so
Are
he's
you looking
over
at the story that I told?
Yes, that's what I was trying to find.
Yes,
he's over 6 feet tall, so he's taller than I am, and he played a dwarf.
So let's see, that doesn't help. But it basically said that he had an allergic reaction to the prosthetic, and it burned the skin under his eyes to where he didn't take any films, like any movie roles, for a while after that. Trying to see if I can find the rest of the story. Nope, that's not it. I'll have to look for it later, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. But yeah, continue.
Nope, sorry, it's a Return of the King.
Fair enough.
Right, that's what. Yeah, found it.
Yeah, just edit that out and insert it into the Return of the King part.
Okay,
or you can just say it again, whatever you want to do. All right, number 9, brought to you by Ronnie. The Dark Knight.
Nice. It's so weird that this is one of mine. As Mark didn't beat me to this. Yeah. Yeah, what a great movie though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember I saw that movie. Like in an IMAX theater the first time.
Good choice.
So good. We were like, because I was doing like a summer youth missions thing, and we were traveling from project to project, and it was our week off, and I think it was an AMC IMAX in Chicago or something like that, that we saw that for the first time, and man, that movie's incredible. All the acting, Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Heath Ledger as Joker is of all the Batman movies, I quote this one the most because Heath Ledger just delivers the Joker in a new way, and it's just so good. I even laugh like him sometimes. Like there's like when Mark and I start playing Apex. I mean, I think probably 9 times out of 10, I'm just like, oh, aha, aha, and then Mark ends it with, "It's gone."
It's gone. Unfortunately, that took a major mental toll on him, but man, it comes out in his performance for sure. But
yeah,
for sure. I know that when it was building up to the release, I remember seeing that Joker was going to be in the fray again, and I'm like, Heath Ledger is the Joker, really?
Yeah.
And then
the 10 Things I Hate About You movie,
really,
what? No,
guy?
No.
Yeah. And I'm like, really? Do we have to do the Joker again? There's so many bad guys with Batman. Let's spread the love. They did so good in the first one where they did Ra's al Ghul, and they hadn't done that in a film or anything before. I thought they'd keep going with the unique, villains. And then, of course, I definitely had a soft spot for Jack Nicholson's Joker. So I was like, can he really top that? And man, he just blew the socks off of Joker. Like it was I mean, it was an Academy Award winning performance.
All Jokers are compared to Heath Ledger's Joker now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's too good.
It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pick number 8, brought to you by Patrick.
Yeah.
Independence Day.
This is another one of those movies where I can just turn it on at any time of the year and just enjoy it from beginning to end. This movie starts off so good, and probably the best monologue or speech in any movie in its history is when the president gets up there and he's just inspiring everybody who's not supposed to be there. They just signed up to start flying planes, and it's just like I've seen this speech hundreds of times probably in my lifetime, and almost every time, it gives me chills. Like it's so good.
Yeah,
it's delivered so well. Bill
I would
Pullman
wager
did awesome.
I would wager that if you played this speech alongside other historical speeches to like young people, they wouldn't even know the difference. They'd be like, yeah, that's real.
So impressive, dude. Like it gives me goosebumps every single time, no matter what I'm doing. Like still to this day, like I know it's coming, and it's just like you're like, oh man, like I'm ready to get in a plane right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and the mix of, I don't know, like trying to think. I remember watching it on Independence Day with my family, like typical trope. Like we went to the movies on Independence Day. I remember watching it, loving it, laughing so hard. I want to say that definitely this was after Jurassic Park. So like Jeff Goldblum, I was a fan.
Yeah.
Will Smith, definitely a fan. This movie's got a all-star cast, like
it does.
Of actors and actresses. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Agreed.
I mean, yeah, there's just so many quotes in this movie, like "Welcome to Earth."
Welcome to Earth.
Yep. Yeah. Was the Jeff Goldblum? Like he's so good in this movie.
He is good
as like a scientist, IT kind of guy.
As a nerd, really smart.
As a nerd. Yeah. So good. Yeah.
Bye bye.
All right. Pick number 7, also brought to us by Ronnie. Avengers Infinity War. What an ending.
That's the first Marvel movie I ever watched.
This is so outrageous.
Still blows my mind.
Doesn't make any sense.
Watch.
It's like showing up to the last 3 minutes of the Super Bowl. It's like, oh hey,
But of never watching any sport ever. I'll just watch the last 3 minutes of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, just watching the first half, the end of the first half, and then being like, Oh, what did I miss before this? Yeah, because this is the first half. This is the part one of a movie. So
I basically watched half of the fourth quarter. I didn't watch any other anything else.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to start it.
But honestly, it made me really want to watch the rest of the movies. I mean, if I hadn't done it that way, like I don't know how quickly I would have watched the other movies, if that makes sense. If I didn't see how good this movie was, I probably wouldn't have went back and been so excited to watch the other ones.
Well, I mean, like this, it's so vast, it's so grandiose, it's so big, and then the end of the movie just like it just like kicks you while you're down. Like, just
you're like, man, what
happened? Are you serious? So then you have to wait an entire year to figure out what happened after that.
Yeah,
that is one, like we're talking about the best moments in cinema. Like that was one of those moments that just like crushed everyone.
You can hear a pin drop in the theater where I was. And it was harrowing. Like it was haunting. It was.
You were just never expecting them to lose.
Gave you chill bumps.
You were never expecting them to lose. Always expecting them to pull through, and then they lost at the end of it. And you're like, oh no.
And not just lost. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Infinity War. But not just lost, like died.
Really lost.
So many, so many main
more than died, ceased to exist.
Yeah.
And Peter Parker like trying to hug Iron Man at the time.
Heartbreaker.
That's rough, dude.
That grips me because with his spider sense, like he's already sensing what's happening, and like before, and he's already feeling something's coming. It's not like oh, hey, I'm gone. He feels it. It's coming. And he's like, no, I don't want to go, please. And I was actually watching this. It's like, I think it was a TikTok video. He's like, it's not his line, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. I don't want to go. That's not the last line. The last word that he says is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you're just like, even in this moment where you feel like you're dying, you're still feeling like you're letting somebody down by dying. And he's like,
that was a rough one, man.
So yeah, powerful stuff.
Yeah, that was the big fight scene in Wakanda, the E-Bomb Bay. I mean, like just that big, huge fight scene with
that was sweet, dude.
Rocket and
and Thor had just gotten his Stormbreaker new hammer,
just came in,
whooping tail and just like. Oh, it was amazing.
I'd like to introduce you to my new friend, Tree.
I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
That was the best part. Steve Rogers.
Yeah. And that this movie, more than Endgame, changed MCU forever. Like, changed how you do film. Like, it's so incredible. Like what they did, like culminating everything into one film.
Oh man, they give the Winter Soldier, they give it back his arm and everything.
Yep,
that's so good. Dude.
All injected with that vibranium.
Oh, dude! So Rocket, when he first meets him, he's like, how much for the gun? He's like, it's not for sale. He's like, how much for the arm? He's like, it's not for sale. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get that arm. What a great joke. They keep going throughout the whole like the whole movie series.
Yeah.
Him in like prosthetic pieces.
Oh yeah. All right. Number 6 on the list, brought to you by me. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Patrick, do you want to
a diversion?
Say something here. You're just going to say the line and just leave it at that.
Yeah. I looked up a diversion. I put Legolas a diversion, and there's just like hundreds of YouTube videos.
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
remixes, and there's people like clapping whenever he says a diversion. Like it's hilarious.
Some of those remixes are amazing. I'd forgotten I was going to mention from Two Towers where Legolas says they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. There's a really cool remix of that. Yeah.
The hobbits.
Yeah, we got a pretty cool remix of that. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the culmination of the whole story. Such an emotional ride. I don't know, like Like the lessons learned. Of course, it's humorous. Of course, it's epic. But the lessons learned in that, I watched that movie, and with some friends from college, and I remember driving home and just like something about the story, especially the part where Frodo goes home and he's like, "How do you pick up the strings of an old life?" And he starts talking about how he can't be not changed by what he experienced. Yeah, how do you go back to normal? And just like some of the emotions and the themes in that movie were just amazing. Like when Aragorn bows to the hobbits, he's like, "You bow to no one," and then he bows to them, and everybody else bows to the hobbits. Like that always gets me.
There's just imagine so many... Merry and Pippin like in a bar like a couple years later, like
second
like they're just living it up. We don't bow to anybody.
Yeah. You know, it's funny in the books, and I wish they would have hit on this more. Like in the books, they're like a head taller than every hobbit when they get back. Like because they drank a bunch of the Ent juice in Two Towers, and they're like much taller, and they're even more like hobbit bros, just like, yeah, what's up?
They're like just... those two are like straight frat hobbits.
Yeah, totally.
They come in pints? Yes, they come in pints.
Yes. And they find that barley weed in the in the cellars, and they're smoking. And
the salted pork is especially delightful. Salted pork.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie is just class act. They lived up to the books, I thought, and that's very rare for a movie to be able to produce a movie that actually gives justice to the books and to the story. So
these movies are incredible. One of the best things about these movies is honestly the music. Like the music throughout these whole movies is so good, dude.
Yeah.
Is it this movie or Two Towers? Where they have, I always get them confused. The one that was in Denethor's debt. He basically became his ward or whatever.
That's the third one.
Which Hobbit is that?
It's Merry.
Okay.
And then he ends up riding with Éowyn and helps her defeat the Witch King. Which what a scene when she stabs him in the face. She's like, "I am no man," and just like stabs him in the face, and his face caves in like a tin can. It's like, oh,
that was sweet. That was sweet.
Yeah. The part where Denethor makes him sing for his entertainment, that song.
Oh yes, no, sorry, that was Pippin. I was getting my people mixed up.
That was Pippin.
It's Pippin. It's Pippin. Yeah, because that was in Minas Tirith. Where he becomes a. It's not a. Is it a ward? Yeah, maybe it's something like that. But yeah,
he's like in his debt.
Because of the death of Boromir. Yeah, he takes the fault. Yeah, that's Pippin.
Yeah.
His singing.
I love how Gandalf tells him not to say anything, and as soon as he goes in there, he's like, "Yes, I owe my life to you."
Yeah, Gandalf's like, I swear my blood.
Like Gandalf,
you idiot!
Told you not to talk. Oh, and that scene though, where maybe it's right around where he sings when Denethor's eating. He's eating
that's
those
always
tomatoes.
So unsettling.
And it just like goes down his mouth, and it's just like, get a napkin, man. Come on, that's gross.
Eat the whole tomato.
I mean, the directors say, "Hey, eat as disgustingly as possible. I need you to eat like a madman,
despicable as you possibly can when you're eating."
Yeah. What a movie. And then the part that always I already mentioned a couple parts, but another one that always hits me is when Frodo and Sam are going up Mount Doom, and Frodo can't get up anymore, and Sam's like, "Well, I can't carry your burden, but I can carry you." And he picks him up, just hauls him. Rudy just puts him over his shoulder and just takes him right up the hill to Mount Doom. Like, so good. There's so many like moments where it's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's just it's so good. So good. All right. Speaking of so good, that's not really a transition, but I just want to, everything we're talking
about
the top
is so
10.
Good. Yeah.
It is a top 10. It's so good.
It's all good.
Number 5, brought to you by Patrick. Jurassic Park. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
We met a T-Rex.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this in theaters when it first came out with my mom. It was only me and my mom. And I remember like at the time, I was like, I don't want to say scared, but like this was a pretty, like there were some intense parts in these movies. Like when the raptors are in the kitchen with them, like that was the most intense thing I'm pretty sure I had ever seen up to that point when I was a little kid.
It still looks real.
The scariest
still
thing
does.
ever.
Yeah,
it does.
It still looks real. Like, that is what dinosaurs look like. And anything else I see is fake.
I watched the movies that made us, and they did Jurassic Park, and how they did that back in the 90s, and how it just looks absolutely amazing.
So good, dude.
You know, some of it was animatronic, some of it was CG, and
they mixed it together
so good. Yeah.
And then the layers of sounds they used to make the dinosaur like sounds, like for T-Rex was like a mixture of like 5 different animals that they combined together. I can't remember what the layers are.
They basically created what we feel like a T-Rex sounded like.
Yeah.
No one knows
what I know a T-Rex to have sounded like. That's exactly it. That's where
no one knows what a T-Rex sounds like
except Steven Spielberg.
And they just made it that way, and that's the way every other T-Rex sounds in anything else you see.
Yeah. Because it was such a terrifying sound, man.
Ooh, and the T-Rex and the Velociraptors. I played, like I told you guys, I played BioShock 2, and one of the enemies in that game sounds like the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park, and it is very, very unsettling. Like the most I get nervous in the game. That's that high-pitched screech sound. Yeah. It's just horrible. And then when they do the clicks with their claws when they're hunting the kids in the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They just tap their claws like, come out, wherever you are.
Tell you what, anytime
Johnny.
They don't know how to open doors. Or do they?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I see a can of Barbasol, it always makes me think of...
Yeah, for sure.
We got dots in here. Dotson. Yeah. See, no one cares.
Also, they haven't changed that can since that movie.
That's a stick.
Yeah. But yeah, Mark, you were talking about the Lord of the Rings music. I mean, the music from this is just iconic.
I mean, it's John Williams, right? Like, what music doesn't he make that's not iconic? Like,
yeah, he knows how to do it.
He knows how to do it.
See, now I can't hear. Now I can't hear the actual like Jurassic Park, like the without hearing the crappy recorder version of
it. From No Man's Sky.
Yeah, with the harmonica. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
I was thinking the Family Guy version that he does. He's like in a little video and he's got dinosaurs. He's like in
fact.
Oh yeah. But that movie was a big pile of crap.
Yeah.
Nah.
Life does find a way, as you said.
No, you need to say it like finds a way.
Find a way.
Yeah. You have to take like 30 seconds to say it.
When you gotta go, you gotta
go. All right. Number 4. Brought to you by me again. The Matrix.
Yeah,
Matrix.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The best of
Kung
all
Fu.
the Matrix.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
You think that's air you're breathing? You
have
to realize the truth. What the truth? There is no spoon.
There was just nothing else like it when it
that
came
movie
out.
blew my mind.
Yeah, dude.
When I saw it in high school.
To this day, when my dad's like trying to cheer me up or something like that, he will always say, "Here, have a cookie."
Yeah, just like the Oracle.
Whenever you eat it, you'll feel right as rain.
Yeah. That's funny.
I like in the later one, I think it's Revelations, when he when he goes to kill the Oracle and he takes the plate and he slams it up against the wall with cookies on it. He's like, maybe you knew I was going to do that. Maybe you put that plate right there because you knew I was going to do that. I was like, man, I've been doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Regardless of how you feel about the trilogy as a whole, like Agent Smith steals the show. Like his character,
he's an awesome bad guy.
And
Mr.
by the end, amazing
how
villain.
How can you get your phone call if you are unable to speak?
Yeah. So yeah, he delivers that really well.
I've never really cared to see that close up of Keanu Reeves's belly button, but there it is when he drops that.
Oof.
You could feel that. That felt gross.
There's some horrible stuff.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happens only in the Amazon.
Only happens in the future.
Once to me when I've gone to visit. I recovered okay.
But
yeah, that one.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, as is tradition, after I go, you go.
Okay. Well, that means you would need to go first.
Dang, that's not how that works. As is tradition, words are hard.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mark. I don't even remember what I was going to say now.
Yeah, that whole concept of a movie, especially like in a time where like technology was like really kicking into full gear with like the rise of the internet and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
Just knowing that like the premise of we're in a computer simulation and the machines, it's another one of those, like Terminator type things where the machines have taken over and that kind of stuff, and we're all living in a simulation and all that kind of stuff, and it's just crazy stuff, and all the acting in it and the action is incredible. I think that was the first major use of that bullet time effect.
Yes.
Yep.
It was.
That and Max
the first
Payne,
time I'd ever seen
those were the two
like
times.
That.
Yeah. That ending to me, like I've mentioned, I think before, like one of the movies that is towards the bottom, still in our top 100, but at the bottom is August Rush. My dad, I remember one time he watched the ending of that movie like 20 times in one day. But the ending of Matrix, the last 15 minutes, I could easily watch that over and over again. Like
where he just turns, he says, "No."
Yeah. Just sticks his hand out. But even the final fight between him and Agent
I can
Smith,
dodge bullets. I'm saying once you learn,
when you're ready,
you won't have to. Yeah,
you won't have to. Yeah. Oh yeah. But that final fight between him and Agent Smith, when like they're like duking it out, like shooting at each other, and it's like slow motion.
Yeah.
And they run out of bullets. Yeah.
I think in that hallway when he just like realizes how fast he's going, he just like turns and he's just like just throwing his elbow and his arm around. He's like, "Huh, I'm blocking all your punches."
I love the scene,
and then he goes Street Fighter, like all of a sudden goes really fast. Man,
the scene where he like it's that same area where he gets up there, and I think they're in the subway, and he gets back up, and all of a sudden he does like this kind of move.
Oh yeah,
and the dust pops off of him. Yeah. So good.
Man,
show.
We should watch all of these right now. Seriously, these are all like fantastic. I want
to
watch.
Can I just say how much I love Keanu Reeves?
He's a national treasure.
Oh man, is he a treasure?
He is. He is for sure. All right, number 3, brought to you by Mark.
I was wondering if one of my movies actually made it to the top 10.
You did. You made it top 3, Mark.
Yes.
You did not disappoint with Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
One of the biggest twists in movie history.
Yep. Greatest plot twist ever.
Should we spoil it? Do you think anyone knows out there that
Luke has a daddy? That's the spoiler.
And his dad wears a black helmet and a face mask, and he's half robot.
But who could that be?
I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, you talking about some words or phrases and quotes in movies being misremembered.
Oh yeah,
this one is like, this is one of them where it says, "Luke, I am your father." Like he doesn't say that.
Nope.
No, he says something like, "Hey, I'm your pops."
Like, yep, just like that.
Oh, I didn't realize.
No, he doesn't even say a statement. He says, "Luke, who's your daddy?"
Who's your daddy? What does he do?
The paternity test came back.
I am your daddy.
He says, no, I am your father.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No,
that's impossible.
That's impossible.
Your face isn't ugly enough. You need to keep working on that. And there's nothing like proving to your son that you're his father by cutting off his hand. Yeah. There's no better way to say, "Hey, I'm your dad," and
we're
now
the
I'm
same.
gonna cut your hand off.
I was gonna say,
you and me,
that's like a
we're wrist buddies.
Yeah, that's what they'll call us.
I'd love for them to cut like. I'd love for them in that scene to cut over like to Maury. I mean, like, and test results. You are the father.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a TikTok video out there. With
there's definitely one. and then you cut back to Luke.
No, it's not true. no. I think I was watching a video where Mark Hamill was actually talking about it was him, George Lucas, and the actor playing Darth Vader, not James Earl Jones, but I believe his
actual
name
guy
David Prowse was the guy in the suit. They were the only ones who knew of the actual twist.
Mm.
And so when they actually did the scene, everybody was like, "What?" Just completely blown away because
Dumbfounded.
I think it was written completely differently in the initial script, and then George Lucas came to Mark Hamill and it's like, "No, this is the real one," and he's like, "What?" So
yeah.
That was a big deal.
Huge deal.
And then
Huge deal.
and then Luke realizes that he kissed his sister later on, but
That's why he was saying no. He's like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
Of course, he didn't find that out until
that's impossible.
That's
improbable.
impossible.
Yeah. This movie has the greatest highs and the greatest lows of Star Wars. When Luke kisses his sister, I'm just like, and then he sticks his hand behind his arms, like, yeah, look at me kissing my sister.
Yeah, incest
It's like,
boy.
no, yuck. You're so gross. Why?
Is that one of the C movie characters in Suicide Squad?
Yep.
Sister kisser? Is that,
Yeah.
is that the
The
character?
Sister.
I'm sister kisser, kissing all the sisters.
Where did this guy come from? Why is he on our team?
Yeah. How is this going to help us?
I'm not sure the benefit of him being here.
Do the villains have sisters? Is that gonna?
Yeah, I'm sure
I don't know.
George will rip out 3 movies to figure out how this is
Yeah.
pertinent.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, but Empire Strikes Back, great flick.
Yep.
Great flick.
Mhm.
Number 2. Actually, number 2 and number 1 are both brought to you by Ronnie, because he stole all the Marvel movies when he was giving his picks. Smart move, Ronnie.
Really,
Smart
because I
move.
just didn't come prepared to any one of these.
So you're like Marvel movie. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't go wrong with the Marvel
Let me
movie.
see what do we got here.
Yeah, so number 2 is Captain America Civil War, or as I like to call it, Avengers 2.5 Civil War.
This is not a Captain America movie.
It is an Avengers movie for sure.
Yeah.
This is the
So an
Team
Avengers
Iron
movie.
Man, Team Captain America. This is where it starts right here.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. Just
Yeah,
to see them going after each other, like, oh man.
It's only a Captain America movie in the fact that it continues that storyline between Steve and Bucky.
Yeah,
Right.
That whole line. But yeah,
that's
the
like
rest
the
of it's
focal
all-
point.
Yeah, the rest of it's all Avengers stuff, and an excuse to bring Spider-Man in.
Underoos.
Oh man.
Dude, when they square up in that airport, though, like the two teams are like,
Yep.
they're walking up to each other, whatever. She's like, "You gonna punch your way out of this one, Steve?" And it's like, then they all start jogging towards each other. I'm like, this is it. This is gonna be
This is
awesome.
for real. And that scene is like, I want to say it's like 40 minutes of them fighting each other. And
It does feel like
is-
it goes on forever.
And it's so funny. Like you guys mentioned Spider-Man, like him. Oh, remember that old movie? Empire Strikes Back. Like,
Yeah.
and like him having fun with Falcon and Winter
Yeah.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you know
Grabbing
this
his
kid,
arm.
but there's not usually this much talking.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, is that a metal arm? Awesome.
So cool. Yeah. That scene kind of hits differently too now that they've had the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
They
a
were-
point
It's
where
kind of like
they're-
where it started.
they're
really.
buddied up. Yeah.
there's a point where they're fighting Spider-Man, and they're like webbed down to the ground, and Falcon's like, "I hate you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they say that same thing in the car. He's like, can you move over? No.
The whole scene where he's like kissing, not Peggy.
Yeah,
Sharon.
her
Sharon.
yeah.
Cousin Sharon,
Yeah,
Aunt Peggy, cousin Sharon,
yeah.
kissing his sister.
And then they're like, it cuts back to Bucky and Falcon, and they're like,
Yeah.
Now, do you think that conversation came up later, like when he
that had
travels
to.
back to the past? Like,
It
just
had
so
to
you
have been
know,
on it,
I kissed your niece.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
mean to. I thought you were dead.
honestly,
I did mean to.
I felt-
I did mean
I
to.
felt kind of bad that I was kind of bummed that they dropped that. I mean, I get him going back to Peggy, totally understand that. But I feel like that would have been good if they hadn't dropped that.
It makes more sense though that they didn't take it any further based on the ending.
Yeah, and of course,
like,
you know, knowing what we know about
Falcon
and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Also, what she becomes.
Yeah, it's a good thing he got out of that relationship. That wouldn't have ended well.
Yep.
And he could have been the power broker's husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm talking about a power couple. The two of them.
Talk about it.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
America's Behind, along with I don't know, America's Power. I don't fight the power.
No, so there was a lot of like the reason I love this movie is it included everybody that you loved. So like it basically was an Avengers movie, but like, man, I'll tell you what, like one of the hardest scenes like for me to watch is like them fighting each other at the end. Like that was rough, dude. Like that was a rough fight, the two of them. Like how it ended and everything, like it was awful.
Yeah, them watching the video of Winter Soldier killing Stark's parents, and
that was really rough.
That was
a lot of good parts, but that was a big. Yeah, he was a great villain.
Yeah,
Mission
for sure.
December 16th, 1990.
I love that they brought him back. By the way,
yeah,
man, sure. I love that. It's such a better character when he comes back. Yeah, dude.
Yep. What a movie.
One of my favorite scenes in this was at the airport when Captain America is fighting Spider-Man, and he's like holding up that thing. He's like, "Where are you from?" He's like Queens. He's like Brooklyn, as he's just running away like smugly.
Nice. All right, well, let's continue the MCU fun with the number one pick, Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
Yeah, best movie I've ever seen. Number one.
It's a no-brainer.
You talk about goosebumps, like that whole final scene on your left. Man. Like, and you've seen several like reaction videos where you hear the movie theater audience when they're watching the scene.
Yeah, dude, I could still watch those reactions. Like, it's still like I still have that reaction when I'm watching it at home.
Oh yeah, I giggled so loud when Captain America got that hammer. Like I was just like,
no. Man, yeah,
like,
I was like, I knew it.
Yeah. So epic. That's just,
and then he just starts like just roughing him up. Like he just starts roughing Thanos up. And you're like this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I want to see that with like a put hammer time over top of that. Just like stop hammer time. Just like do.
There's a TikTok video guaranteed.
I'm sure there is a TikTok video. But it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. And it's I mean, this was the 23rd movie in the series or something like that.
I think so, something like that.
And yes, this movie on its own, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
You need to have that background, which is awesome that Ronnie, you saw Infinity War first and not Endgame first.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That would have been different.
And I think you seeing the first half of the first quarter, and you're like, oh, like let's memento this. Let's go back. Let's do this Quentin Tarantino. I want to see the end before I see everything else. Yeah. But the reason this movie is so good is because so much history and so much we've seen it culminated to this whole scene at the end against Thanos. Where all the Avengers have assembled and they're trying to get the glove. And
an absolute masterpiece.
Good.
Hey, Ronnie, what happens at the end of this movie?
Which part? I feel like there's like 20 ends for every character.
Well, there's that big part,
The one you like to say often.
Obviously, Steve Rogers goes back in time and lives happily ever after.
Yeah, that's it.
We knew you would say that.
That was rough though. I will tell you what, that's still, even watching that, like I can't even help but like internally just be emotional about it. I'm like, man, if I know it's coming, like, and it's just on TV, I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna go through it again.
Not feeling that emotional roller coaster right now.
And just how Pepper, like, she comes up to him, she's like, Tony, you can rest now.
You can rest.
Oh,
be okay.
Yes,
dude. For me, it was a scene at the end with the hamburgers with Happy on the porch. Ooh. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a real like a cut scene from that, a deleted scene from that. That's actually pretty cool. Where when spoilers, huge spoilers, when
everybody that watches the show had to have seen this movie.
I would hope so.
I mean, hopefully you'd know we were going to spoil these movies.
Yeah.
Not like talking generalities.
So after Tony does the snap, you know how like with Thanos, when he does the snap, he sees the little child Gamora.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
isn't that like other realm?
Yeah, that's like the
that's the soul realm.
Soul Stone, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in this, he sees an older version of Morgan.
His daughter.
His daughter.
Oh man, that was really
that's
cool.
right. Yeah,
I've never seen that.
I've seen that.
I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I get why they cut it, but I thought that
I don't. The movie was already like what 3.5 hours. 3 hours.
I could have watched another 3.5.
I could have watched.
Exactly. I could have watched this all day.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have kept that, but
Endgame is 24.5 hours. All right,
but in all fairness, like
bring it on.
One of the things that I think would be cool actually is if they use Morgan and like she kind of like takes up the mantle of Iron Man like later in life.
Yeah. And
if they actually take like that scene, that could be a part of the whole origin story, basically.
Yeah.
And use it. I think that would be really awesome.
Yeah, there was this. The other touching moment of Tony Stark is when he went back in time and he saw his dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was a surprising,
really cool,
strong. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that movie's so good.
He's being all like awkward around him because he knows he's his dad, but his dad doesn't know that he's Tony. Because
yeah.
I like when they're looking for him. She's like weird, he had a weird beard. He's like, what do you mean, like a Mungo Jerry? He's like, yeah, Mungo Jerry beard.
I think these movies have some of, if not the best, uses of time travel. I know Patrick, Mark, you two are like the time travel loving bros.
Yeah.
I enjoy time travel movies and stories, but I can't get past once I see a loophole or like something where it's like, that doesn't make sense. I can't see past that. But with the way Marvel did the time travel through the quantum realm, through the whole idea of you fracture time when you go back and unless you reset stuff and just how that all worked was masterful. Like the conversation they have where they're like, talking about the Back to the Future rules and like knocking those down. And I don't know. I really loved their take on and do like their take on time travel.
Yeah.
In this film.
Whole conversation with the Ancient One and Bruce Banner kind of led into the Loki TV show, which was
makes
really
so
cool.
much sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Just so many. I mean, Fat Thor. I mean, the conversations between the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, which that was in Infinity War mostly, but yeah, Fat Thor was hilarious. Yep. And his hangout with Rocket.
Korg.
What? No, but yeah, well, of course, hanging out and playing video games with Korg. But like when they went to whatever the Asgard, Rocket Raccoon, and Thor, and he's like, "Are you crying right now?" Like, no. Yes.
I mean,
like yeah. But then him reaching out at the end and like waiting, and it's just like this awkward like 15 seconds, and then Meow Meow comes to him and he's like, I'm still worthy. Like him just getting emotional. So good.
Yeah, really good. It's a good number one. Really good.
For sure.
Solid.
An epic number one. Now, we're not the only ones with epic number ones, number twos, threes, and fours and fives. We have some joiners that would like to share their top fives with us.
Okay.
These top fives have been cooking for now 3 weeks. And I would guess that some of these joiners maybe would probably switch things around, but it's too late. They etched it in stone. They wrote it in Discord, and we're going to read it and see if maybe some of these movies may be movies we left out, maybe some honorable mentions.
All right.
So Chris the Rock on Discord said, in no order without much thought, Memento. You mentioned that just a few minutes ago, Patrick.
Yeah.
Fight Club, Biodome. Yes, really.
Viva Las Biodome.
Avengers Endgame and The Dark Knight. Well, we got 3 out of the 5 in our list, Chris, so pretty good job. Biodome, Pauly Shore, an underrated 90s comedian. Like he had some Encino Man, Son-in-Law. What else? He was in a number of movies back.
Go back and watch those now. Like I can't get on board with them anymore.
Oh, they're awful.
You know what I mean? Like you go back and watch them now, and it's like
they were funny.
At the time, they were funny. Yeah.
Let's see. Corey Fouch, aka Smith, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, Gladiator.
Oh, Gladiator.
Gladiator is such a good movie. Remember the Titans, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I like that. Really? I kind of like that.
Yeah. And then Avengers Endgame.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's right.
Sean Connery.
I am the last dragon. Tim Pollen, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Smokey and the Bandit.
He would be one that likes Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah. Nobody. We'll follow Smokey and the Bandit with Blazing Saddles.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Oh my. Then Raiders of the Lost Ark and Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
And
so good. Back when God was in jail.
Yep.
Ryan, Unpopular Opinions, Strawby. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. We named the dog Indiana. Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Interstellar.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And then Independence Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, I need to watch Independence Day this week now. Like that's one that's really jumping at me right now.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
It's been a while, yeah.
I think I'm due also.
Did anyone see the Independence Day sequel?
I'd rather not talk about that right now.
I saw that there was one, and I was upset about it.
Should have never existed.
Should not have existed. So bad.
It's awful. So forgettable.
People love that money.
That's right. Story's not over till capitalism.
Till the money dries up.
Yep. You done messed up. Aaron, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl. Spider-Man 2, Raimiverse. And Lord of the Rings: Two Towers.
Yeah.
He's got Infinity War on there, but not Endgame.
Yep. He's a bit of a dark one, you know. He's kind of got that dark humor. I don't know. He likes to end on a dusting note.
On a loss.
I don't know. On a loss. Just it makes you hungry for a win later on. Friggin' nutcase. Legend. Lord of the Rings.
Legend? Which one is that?
I Am Legend, maybe?
Is it I Am Legend?
I don't know. It just says Legend.
No, I think
is Legend
an actual movie?
I Am Legend with Will Smith. Ooh, that's a good one.
You know, a movie I should have put on here was I, Robot, because I loved that.
Ooh, yes. I also liked I, Robot.
Remember that? That was such a good one, dude.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's the one with Shia LaBeouf. He doesn't know how to cuss.
Yeah.
So, Legend is a 2015 movie with Tom Hardy, Taron Egerton, David Thewlis, Christopher Eccleston, Emily Browning.
Got some names in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. What's it about?
It's a former boxer who has become part of the criminal underground in London.
I must be speaking some Cackney.
Yep, that's right. Some Cackney in the car park. All right.
Also, a movie we should have put on here: Gangs of New York. 100%.
Yep.
All right.
There's a lot of movies.
We've gone off the rails. I'm going to restart the list. Legend.
Okay. Yep.
This is friggin' nutcase, just so you know. Travis Popsicle. Legend. Lord of the Rings. Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Whoa.
Wow. David Bowie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, David Bowie.
Oh, David Bowie.
Saw a little too much of David Bowie in that movie.
A lot of too much of David Bowie. Aliens and Goonies.
All right.
Hey, you guys.
I'm surprised he didn't have Smokey and the Bandit on here. Isn't Travis the one that's an over-the-road truck driver? Am I right about that?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. Well, there you have it, folks. We made it through our joiners' tops fives. We got through the top 100. It only took 3 weeks. And that about does it for the third half to our mega mound of masterpiece movies. thank you so much for joining us on all that
Mm-hmm.
fun conversation.
Yeah.
Do we have any honorable mentions? I know that some of our joiners definitely mentioned some classics like Indiana Jones. I was really sad that we didn't get an Indiana Jones in there. Last Crusade is definitely my favorite, so I'm right there with you.
I have
Ryan Straube.
I have a weird honorable mention.
Let's hear it.
It's the Matthew McConaughey, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh man, I love that movie.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love that movie.
It's a good
It's
movie.
one of my guilty pleasures I don't really talk about, but that is a good one.
You.
Yeah.
You know what movie I like, which is an honorable mention, is I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. I thought that movie was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
With Adam Sandler and Kevin James.
I recently watched that. It is a really good one.
Yeah, man, that's a good one. Really tugs at the heartstrings.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Nice. Mark, do you have an honorable mention you want to throw out there?
Yeah, this is a bit of an obscure one.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Bring it.
Buckle up.
Probably going to sound like a video game that Lucas Platinum.
Sort of, maybe.
All right, I'd platinum that. Let's go.
Tron.
Oh, all right.
Ooh,
that's not too obscure.
Yeah.
I like that one.
No, that's good.
It's not one that's usually on people's like top lists. But I mean, that was like a pioneering movie in terms of special effects and CG type stuff, like specifically CG.
I mean, and it's easily the inspiration for most laser tag places.
Yep.
Like it's just like you're like in a laser tag arena the whole time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And I actually really enjoyed the sequel to that too. I loved
Legacy.
Tron. I loved Tron Legacy.
I didn't know about Tron until the sequel came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And,
I was definitely semi-lost when I watched Tron Legacy. I was like, wait, who's that? Why is he twins with the dude?
Oh yeah, I really liked Legacy. It was good.
Yeah, it was. I had some honorable mentions, but I've forgotten them. So I'm gonna say I don't know.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's good.
Dances with Wolves. I'll just throw it out there.
There you go.
Tatanka.
Okay.
Tatanka. It was a classic one. Good old Kevin Costner.
How about Robin Hood with Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman?
Switch it out. Robin Hood.
How about that?
With Kevin Costner. That's
How about Robin Hood?
That's a classic.
Tights?
Yes, we're men. Manly
Honestly,
men in
tights.
tights.
Every Robin Hood movie I've seen, I'm pretty sure I've liked it. Like Russell Crowe has one that's good.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lend me your ears.
Abe Lincoln. Abe Lincoln. No, I said hey Blinken.
I can't tell you how many times I don't even know what context I've done this in, but from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, I'll just look at Minnie and be like, I'll look down on the ground and go, "Is that your finger?" From the part where Friar Tuck finds his leprosy friend's finger, just for kicks and giggles.
Gross.
Anyone? Nope, just me. Great.
Nope.
My real name is Will Scarlett O'Hara.
We're going back and forth on the quotes.
All the Robin Hoods.
Who knows
which is which?
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
A black
Sorry.
sheriff? Hey, they did it in Blazing Saddles.
All right.
Shout out to Tim.
Yep. As is tradition, some quick housekeeping where we offer towels, fluff pillows topped with Andy's candies, and tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. The GMG stream team is continuing to offer content and conversation from Sunday to Saturday. No thanks to me, of course. And they, of course, been playing some games throughout the week. I've unfortunately been playing games that are not streamable. Looking at you, BioShock 1 and 2.
Why is that a thing?
Which is so stupid.
Yeah.
You can't stream it through the PlayStation. You have to use Streamlabs or things that I haven't upgraded to yet. Yeah. But Mark's playing games that you can stream on Saturday nights, along with the occasional bonus streams. Lots of multiplayer games like Fortnite and Apex. Chris is going to be starting Days Gone soon and is also joining me in Borderlands 2 a couple times a week. And so check it out. Check us out on twitch.tv. Also, if you like tweeting on Twitter and discussing or discoursing on Discord, we want to hang out with you. So we invite you, click on a link in the show notes to join us on Discord. You can also rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser because it helps us reach new joiners. So feel free to give some stars, exclamation points, and nice encouraging words. And let your voice be heard in a positive and encouraging way. Speaking of what should be heard, Mark, wait. Am I getting the cart before the horse?
No,
or
you're
Mark?
Good.
Mark,
well,
you got something for us. I do, because we have to finally unveil the GMG MAST 100. The Good Morning Guys Music and Songs Top 100 list.
Music and songs.
Keeping it going.
Right. That's right. Movies and films.
Music, songs, and recordings.
That's right. Maybe I should make it Musics and Songs and Limericks Top 100. The GMG MAS.
That means
no. I like the GMG MAST. That's right. Beautiful.
All right. So we're unveiling that. We're giving our picks first, right?
So I wondered how you guys wanted to go about doing this. So what we could do is each person can give their pick, and then immediately after that, I can give the little history behind that, or we can just do all our picks first, and then I do the history, whichever you guys want.
Pick and history at the same time.
That makes sense.
Agreed.
Yes. This week in music history. No, I don't care what order we go in. whatever we want to do. Honestly.
Whatever the default is.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
All right.
So who wants to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
Go.
And I am going to choose Nirvana, The Man Who Sold the World.
Yeah, man. That's a solid pick.
Anytime I hear I'm like, oh.
Yep.
The way that song starts, I'm in.
Yeah. Obviously, we recorded for Nirvana's MTV Unplugged sessions. Probably one of the most famous of the MTV Unplugged sessions. Probably followed closely by Eric Clapton's MTV Unplugged. But
I would say, did Alice in Chains do one?
I don't know. I'd have to see who's on that list who did all of those.
Okay.
But definitely probably one of the more famous of the ones that they did.
Yeah.
It was a cover of a David Bowie song. He wrote and recorded that originally. It's been re-recorded several times by different artists, but David and Nirvana are probably the most famous renditions. It was recorded on November 18th, 1993, just before what would be Kurt and Nirvana's final world tour, because he passed away in April of 1994. That, if you listen to the lyrics of the song and the fact that they chose that song, was kind of really a reflection of Kurt's mental state at the time, because tragically he passed away, unfortunately committed suicide, but still super solid rendition of the song. You could tell there was a lot of real emotion in them performing that, and it's real acoustic. It's laid back kind of stuff.
This is why you asked us what our music was in advance.
Yes, yeah. This gives me
doing his homework.
I was wondering why that happened.
Yep. But yeah, solid pick.
Cool.
Who's next?
I will go.
Lucas.
Ruckus.
All right. I chose DC Talk's Jesus Freak.
Nice. Also a good solid pick. Co-written by Toby McKeon, a.k.a. Toby Mac, and another gentleman by the name of Marc Heimerman. After, DC Talk was formed in the late 80s, early 90s. They were primarily like a pop hip-hop kind of group. And if you listen to their earlier stuff, it shows big time. But
oh, yeah.
After going through that, fun fact, they actually formed at the school where I went to, my university, Liberty. So after all of that, they decided they really wanted to, this was when grunge and alternative was kind of at its height, and they wanted to do a grunge and alternative style album. And so that's how Jesus Freak came about, and the song itself. They actually first performed the song in Africa, and at the time they were basically wanting to test it out, and it only had one verse written of it, so it's like it was incomplete, but they wanted to test it, and it got such a resounding response from the audience that they kept going with it, and went ahead and finished it up. It has references to John the Baptist in one of the verses and things like that. But nice mix of rock and rap. So very, very solid pick for sure. Ronnie, you want to go next?
Sure. It is my song choice, and my favorite song of all time would be Glycerine by Bush.
Glycerine. Nice. Love it. Released in November 1995 for their debut album called 16 Stone. The song was originally written for Gavin Rossdale's his girlfriend at the time, Gavin Rossdale being the lead singer of Bush. Her name was Susie DeMarchi. She was the lead singer of an Australian band called Baby Animals. Did not know that, but very, very chill. Like,
I think I knew she was a musician, but I did not know.
Yeah.
That it was an Australian band.
Yep. I think that's what I could be.
Sounds like a kid band just for kids. Yeah. Like, hey, now coming on stage, Baby Animals. Yay!
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they sound nothing like.
It was the 90s. Nobody sounded like that.
Yeah. Okay. Double checked my facts there. Yes, Australian band.
Nice.
Cool.
But in fact, I think Gavin Rossdale is Australian as well. But yeah, also a wonderful pick. Very laid back. Like, even though there's, the primary gist of the song is like still got a heavy sort of electric guitar. It's still one of more their laid back tunes. But yeah, and my pick is one of my favorite songs from this particular artist. It will probably be not the last time you hear from this particular artist in terms of my picks. So it is this song Neon from John Mayer. And this song was originally recorded for his first EP. It's like a 6 or 7 song EP called Inside Wants Out. That was basically the song that he used to get signed, or the album that he used to get signed. And so he ended up re-recording that song for his first major label debut, Room for Squares. And it is notoriously a very difficult song to play. Like, it's insane watching him play. And actually, a lot of it, you can't really play it fully because John has very large hands. And so the way he plays and puts like his thumb and other on certain strings, like, if you don't have large hands, you basically can't do that. You can do some sort of form of it, but yeah, it's ridiculous. And the version that I'm gonna recommend is actually is a live version where he did it all on acoustic, and it sounds incredible. It was on his live album Where the Light Is, which is like peak John Mayer. Like, all of the stuff on that live album is incredible. And also want to mention that we, in some way, are bringing back the playlist. And so all of the songs that we will be mentioning for the MAST 100 will be added to the GMG MAST 100 playlist that you can find on Spotify right now. Obviously, you
can listen to 4 songs.
Only 4
Enjoy
songs
that.
Right now,
I'd like to add also about the big hands and the guitar thing. Fun fact: you can have huge hands and still be god awful at the guitar.
That's fair. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Alrighty then, Pat, Mark, and Ronnie J. Along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go get your good morning this week. And may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.